Hi everyone, on YouTube today. This is the Moral Reform Chronicles, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. Of course, we all know this. But as we are talking about this today, I would like for us to go and dive deep into the things that are worth diving deep into. In our lives, we all have our struggles. Big or small, they are struggles, irregardless of how big or small they are. Little do we realize in our own lives that just because something is small does not mean that it is easy to deal with. We know especially that if it is big, it is definitely not easy to deal with because it is big. In our lives, we tend to overlook things that matter while we're going through the struggles. And at times we don't, but that's not often that we hear of those people. In our lives, let us think about our struggles right now. Are you struggling with anger at times where somebody does something you don't like? Or maybe they're just things, little things bother you. Remember, they're just little things. Also, are you struggling with, gonna go with the most obvious one we've all heard. You struggling with smoking, cigarettes, cigars, or something? Is this something you go to whenever you're having a bad day? Or are you struggling with drugs? Or are you dealing with depression? It's also often as we are thinking about these things, whatever the struggle may be, not just what I've named off. There's a lot more out there. Maybe you're not good with money. At times when we are dealing with these very struggles, something sad happens. We lose sight at times of what matters. We forget about the ones we love, if we do. We also deal with, at times, ourselves. And during these struggles, we find people may get on our nerves easily, for whatever the case may be. Maybe they're teasing you. Maybe they're making fun of you. I can't touch on everything about struggles. I can only try. But I would like for you to think for a moment with me why it is important to overcome whatever your struggle may be. When it comes to it, nobody wants to struggle. But there's something grand about going through the struggle and saying, I'm going to overcome this someday, or I'm going to get through this someday. Someday, in the last part I said, comes more off as an excuse. But when you say, I'm going to overcome this someday, and you have that confidence in you that you will, that is great. But don't just put it off to someday. Make it a goal to overcome at the soonest time possible, if you can. Let's say it does take you a few years. Don't let that bother you. At least you're trying. That's what counts. If your peers, your friends, or family say you're taking too long, but you're trying, it's still better than not trying. I want you to hear me out as I talk about some things with you today, and all those of you that are watching. You see, you're probably feeling so down and bad that you can't overcome whatever that one thing is in your life. And you're asking, if you're a Christian, you're asking God, why isn't this changing for me? Why am I not overcoming this struggle in my life? Why, God? Why? But you gotta know, He doesn't do all the work. You gotta give it to Him. I could tell you myself, I struggle at times. with depression, off and on. Let me tell you, it sucks. It really does. When it happens. But for me as a believer and a Christian, I look up to God for my strength, and it's not easy. And I don't know how to put it, but during this time of the year, the last 6 months of the year, I deal with my depression more then than I do any other time in my life. Does that mean that it's easy? Not always. Some days it is, other days it's not. But I push through it with God's help. And since I come from a family that struggles terribly with pride, I'm forced to think and realize just how blessed I really am. Whenever my pride begins to get a little big, sometimes that depression just kicks in. But again, I have to remind myself, who do I represent? I don't just represent me. As a Christian, I'm representing to the world what Jesus is like and some of God's character. Am I doing it the right way on those bad days? Sadly, no. I don't always do good. Some days I do. Which, those are some days. But I want you to really take this into thought. Is it worth you not trying? I've learned to see my struggle with that one area as a blessing more than a curse. What was once a curse to me, I now view as a blessing. Because it makes me want to come back. Just come to my knees and say, Lord, I need you. I need you, Jesus. I need you. Your battle will not be easy ever. And as time goes on, when it does get easy, if it ever does, here's why it does. You've come to accept the fact that you're going to have this struggle probably the rest of your life. But you must always know, you've learned to accept it for what it is. Go on, continue to be a real blessing to others. Instead of talking about it when I say talk about it, I'm going to emphasize on that. Instead of being negative and, oh, that bothers me, oh, just negative. You're purposely being negative. But if you're actually talking to somebody, just wanting encouragement, needing a real friend, whatever that may be, however they encourage you, however they love you, that's better. That's not negative. You're just expressing you have a struggle. And that's life. Each of us has a struggle in something. Don't let that stop you from improving. It's worth it for you. It is. I can tell you stuff from my life that I've overcome, but I can also tell you where I have failed. I have failed many times. Was it easy? No. It wasn't. It was very painful. Left me in tears most of the time when I failed and made mistakes. Would you please, as you watch this video, find ways, whatever way that may be, to overcome those things in your life that you want to overcome but don't know how. Are you struggling with being overweight? Well, let me tell you, I used to be really, really huge at one point. I'm going to be honest, I still struggle with gaining weight. I know the things that will help me to keep the weight off and to lose it, but some of that doesn't always help with when it comes to a work schedule, and you got to get to bed at like 6, 7 in the evening just so you can wake up at 3 in the morning. If you don't get your sleep, it's like studies have said, sleep and keeping in your whole weight thing, it's not good if you don't get enough sleep. But at the same time, don't give up. Find foods that you like that are healthy. Like, for an example, apples, bananas, pears. The list goes on. There's more. Then there's veggies. Potatoes, you don't want to eat a lot of those. Those can turn into fat. I'm just giving you a little bit of ideas. Do your research. Know your body. Do something. A long time ago, I used to be one who cussed like a sailor. And as a kid, I'm not gonna lie, when you hear Bruce Willis on movies like Die Hard as a kid, you really can't help but think that the man's cool. And obviously, I won't deny this man is into my the way I feel about him. I think he's still a pretty cool guy. Now, is he in everything? No. I don't like that he cusses. It's just some of the things he plays in and where his character's just a little bit offbeat. But I like that kind of stuff of his movies, but I don't watch everything of his because I don't like everything of his like I used to. But you know what? My point is, I used to say all sorts of stuff. Stuff you heard on Die Hard, stuff you've heard in movies where there's cuss words. I've said them all. I want to tell you, it wasn't easy getting to that point, but it was worth it. Also, the verse a friend pointed me to in my late teens, early 20s, I think, somewhere in that range, showed me Ephesians chapter 5, verse 4. Instead of saying it, I want you to go look for it. I want you to really give it thought. I really want you to really think about it. Think about what it says. If you're struggling, do little things to overcome the struggle with cursing. You know, if you have someone in your family who already does good at not cussing, hey, for every time you cuss, give your child the one who does good at it. Let there be some accountability. Give your child $1 for every time you cuss. Why is it I say $1? Think of it. You probably cuss several times in the day. And if you're a good parent and you keep your word, that's gonna be quite a bit of money going out until you overcome it. If you don't have really hardly anybody to help you. But hey, if your child loves you and they want to help you, great. This is a good start. And I was actually the other day while I was going out to people's homes spreading the gospel that I realized that there was this one lady who struggled with cussing. We were talking about God together, talking about politics, talking about many different things. But then she talked about how she wanted to overcome things in her life, and I gave her some ideas. You know, to pray through it, also read the Bible, but at the same time, find ways that will help you. And that's what I recommended after talking with her, because she's got a job, she's got to think about stuff. And I said to her, it's a win-win. She's giving her daughter a dollar for every time she says a bad word. Here's all I gotta say. Wow. We all know we can't just like give money away. Not in this day and age. But in this case, here's where it does good. Her daughters are doing good, not cussing. Why not give her $1? She's already been a good example for mom. And also, her daughter could put that towards getting a car someday. Bang. Win-win. Mom improves, daughter gets blessed, and in everything, for the whole family, it's a win-win. I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to, bombard everybody with stuff about overcoming. But my main thing for you today is don't give up. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. But it's going to be worth it. If you don't know ways to overcome stuff, find me on Facebook. And my name will be on Facebook, Joshua Shipman. And type me questions through Messenger. And I would love to help you. I would love to give you some thoughts and some ideas. I don't know how to put this, but I feel like God's given me this one kind of gift where I'm able to help people come up with ideas to overcome stuff. I don't know why He gave me that gift necessarily, other than yes, I do love helping people, but I don't see myself better than anybody else. But God's given everybody gifts for many different things and occasions. And thank God when those people do use it, something great and grand comes from it. So don't lose faith. God's in control. And remember Paul's words he wrote in prison, while being at times, I believe, possibly tortured. He said, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. If you have questions about that verse, you want to talk about it more, find me on Facebook, and message me in Messenger, whatever you want to do, and share your thoughts. Let's talk about it. Let's talk of a way to help you. There are probably going to be things I recommend that maybe you don't want to do, but you want to overcome something, but maybe you don't want to do it maybe that certain way. We'll discuss till we find one that will work best for you. But if we can't get to that point, then obviously I can't help you like I would love to until you actually let me help you. You got to be that individual who says, I want to help myself. And by doing so, you accept the advice and encouragement from your friends who love you and your family that loves you. Genuinely, unconditionally, with agape love. Have a great day, everyone. And remember, God loves you. You are worth His love. If you have a hard time believing this, please find a New Testament Bible and read it. But don't forget, the Old Testament is still just as important. God bless everyone. Have a great day.